Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports.
Are you really doing season 4 of that stupid podcast?
Y'all know the name of the show. It's Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. And what do guys do when they talk sports at the bar? They drink beer. So if you want to buy us a beer, you can Venmo us. The Venmo is at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to another week of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. This is your Season 4, Episode 10. We are neighborhood friends getting together weekly at the neighborhood watering hole, MJ's Bar and Grill in Columbia, South Carolina, with some brews and a microphone. Stay tuned as we discuss Week 7 college football games. The number 1 offense in the country is playing against the number 2 offense in the country this week, and we're going to talk about that as they square up in Washington State. Not Washington State, the college, but the state of Washington, we'll say. We'll highlight the UCLA and Oregon State game, the USC versus Florida game, Tennessee and Texas A&M game, and what is Miami going to do after the devastating loss last week when they face UNC this week. That's what we're going to talk about. Feel free to share the show with your friends. Please share the show with your friends. Subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Give us some positive reviews as well. We have a Facebook group if you want to join that. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. All you got to do is search for it. Feel free to join. I actually have a TikTok I've been doing as well, just going over some highlights for games of the week as well as some predictions, so you could check us out on TikTok as well. We are in multiple social medias. That's where we're going. I even have
How many listeners are we up to now?
Almost as many
at
as
least
Travis
16.
and Jason Kelsey.
16, and 6 of them are about 9 of them are on the show.
You have an OnlyFans?
So, I do not have an OnlyFans yet, but if I need to have an OnlyFans, I will get one. Whatever it takes to get more listeners. Yes.
We're battling with new heights for first place.
Exactly.
Yes.
We always love support. We do. We love it when people support us. And when they support us, the best way to support us is to buy us around a beer when we're doing the show. And you can do that through Venmo. At Guys at the Bar Talking Sports is the Venmo handle. That's at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Buy us around. You can buy me around. I don't care. But the best is to buy us all around, right?
Speaking of buying around, who won the Oklahoma-Texas game?
Do I owe you a round? I don't know if I bet on that one because I wasn't sure, but did I?
Who won the closest score?
Oh, I did not look that up, but I'll look it up later on, okay? We got to get off sidetracked. So let's go do some introductions real fast. We have my man Chopper over here. What are you drinking, Chopper?
Howdy. How's everybody doing? Corona tonight.
Corona night. You drink Corona every week.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
Predictable, huh?
What are you drinking there, Chief?
I'm drinking Aqua Giacchiata.
Whatever that means. We'll assume it's water. We have Cheeks. What are you drinking, Cheeks?
I'm drinking Pumpkin. I'm about to get a refill.
And we have Mr. X.
Drinking a little Warsteiner tonight.
He decided to not have a name on our show. So we were like, well, I guess you're just Mr. X then. So there we go. This is a new face on our show. You can't see him, but we can, and that's a good thing. That you can't see him. He has a face made for radio. That's the guy. Or face made for podcasting is the new way to say that, right? So
That's it.
Mr. X, I'm going to teach you how things go on the podcast, okay? The first thing we do is we start talking about some words of the day. And when I say words of the day are like things that describe a football game from last week. So that's our chance to look back on last week's games, right? So when I was looking at last week's games, there was some games that it was just an unexpected outcome, or it might have been an unexpected play, or an unexpected player out there. But what was unexpected for you, Chief? We're going to go ahead and show them how it works.
So USC, Southern Cal barely getting by Arizona. That was unexpected.
That must have had Cheeks on.
I was worried about Cheeks.
I was worried
It was
too.
at USC, so that really had me.
Yeah.
It was unexpected.
Yeah, it was tough.
Chopper, did you have anything unexpected that you saw last week, or was it all expected to you?
It was all expected.
It was all.
I was pretty good with my predictions last
You
week.
expected Oklahoma to win.
Yes.
Okay.
I was one of the few that expected that.
Yeah, and that was an upset. Number 12 versus number 3. You call it an upset, right, Mr. X?
Yeah, close enough.
Did you have any games that weren't expected to you? I'm
not-
going to put you on the.
Not the whole game.
Okay.
Unexpected for me was Maryland tying Ohio State at the half.
That was unexpected.
unexpected.
Yeah.
Very
now, last week I called that as a potential upset, and at halftime I was like, I'm right. I am freaking right. And then Ohio State just blows them out the second half.
Then Ohio State put their first string in.
Yeah, what does the quote I always tell you in a football game?
There's plenty of time left.
Yeah, I mean, one comment at the halftime, and that changed the game. It was over.
I think I responded to that comment, and it changed the game too. Because when I get cocky about things, like today,
That's
I
always
said,
bad.
or yesterday I posted something like, who's going to the Carolina game to watch them get beat the crap out of by Florida? And by me doing that, that means Florida's going to lose this week.
Yep.
That's just
Yep.
how it always is. Cheeks, what was unexpected for you?
What's unexpected for me is the number 2 defense in the nation. Anybody know who that is?
Number 2 defense in the nation?
Number 2. Number 1's pretty easy. You can pick out number 1 fairly easy. But number 2
Who's
is the
that?
important one. Well, it's not Georgia.
It's not. Well, it's definitely not.
It's not Michigan.
Yeah.
It's not Ohio.
Who is
It's
it?
not Florida State. It's Air Force.
Air Force has the number 1 defense.
Number
number
two.
two.
Number 2.
defense. Yeah.
defense in
Air
the
Force
nation.
has almost been ranked. Aim high.
Yeah.
They're always.
Well,
getting-
they're ranked, but they're not ranked.
You know what they say you should never do with data? Mislead.
That is, to me, that's pretty misleading data because they haven't played anybody.
They haven't played true, but
So-
for an academy
Where's the
school,
group?
I did bring the schedule just in case you guys debated me.
Oh, jeez, there she is right there. All right, so when I think about some games that I say damn about, right, the one thing that stood out for me for damn was the 4-down stand at the 1-yard line by Oklahoma against Texas. 4 downs. They were on the 1-yard line. They get back to the 2-yard line. They get to the 1-yard line. They get knocked down right on 4th down. It was like, that was game changing. That just shows Oklahoma is for real when it comes to defense, and that Brent Venables, in my opinion, if you could go from a team that loses 49-0 last year to a team that beats Texas, has that type of stand, that's the best defense. Not the best defense in the country, but that is amazing what he did right there. So
it
when
makes
I
it
say
so
damn,
interesting.
that's damn. What do you got for damn?
So
Chicks?
damn for me was an anonymous Pac-12 assistant coach talked some smack about the quarterback from Colorado, and I can never pronounce Deion Sanders' son's name.
Shador?
Shador, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Shador. He said that he's padding his stats because he's taking sacks instead of throwing the ball away like most quarterbacks do. And so he responded with, that guy goofy. And he said, my hand to God, he wants me more than he wants his own quarterback.
So he has the most total yards as a quarterback right now at 2012 or something like that. But the thing is, he's probably the only quarterback in that top 10 that has played every quarter of every game. And that's why those numbers are where they're at for that.
Yeah.
But if you look at, but completion rate is pretty solid for him as well. I think he's number 2 in completion percentage.
Yes, because he takes a sack.
Yeah. So, that's interesting to see. What were you thinking when you saw damn?
How about
Chief?
How about the game's effectively over and all your quarterback has to do is take a knee and you win?
Oh my God.
And instead, you run a play and fumble and give the ball up and the other team gets to score and win.
That was so asinine.
I can't say anything original about that play that hasn't already been said.
Right.
But that is, it's not a fireable offense, but pretty damn close to play as a coach that stupid. And somebody on that team needs to be held accountable for that type of idiocracy. But if you look at the picture up close, his elbow was down on the ground, but still in possession of the ball.
Yeah, you posted it.
And I don't know if that's true, but a friend of mine was actually at that game, and he said the entire time, man, the refs were just like odd when it came to Miami.
It's still,
Still, it
if
was a
all
running
you had
play,
to do was
not
take
a
a
kneel
knee and
Yeah.
the game's over.
And it's still the dumbest thing you could do. Even in mid-play, as they hike the ball, the announcers are like, what are they doing? That's the
Yeah.
dumbest thing I've ever seen. So
That means somebody was not doing clock management who should have been. And I don't know whose job it was. Somebody should have been going, we won the game, take a knee.
100%.
Yes. For sure. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Chopper on this question. Because you have a bunch of told you so's this year, and
They're not all right.
Chopper is the guy that is coming up with the most random predictions, and sometimes he gets them right, and it just blows. But Georgia did come out of out of September undefeated. So
That's right, and that was going to be my damn.
Well, that was
Because-
my
because-
told you so. Buddy.
Yeah, and honestly, 17 straight weeks is AP number 1. They broke Alabama's record, right?
That's insane. Yeah.
My I told you so though is Alabama Crimson Tide and how they've recovered, right? From
Yeah.
the beginning of the year. So I said, everybody was kind of down on them at the beginning, saying, no quarterback, they're going to be down this year, and you see the coaching ability of Nick Saban to come in and level set that team and get them back to where they need to be. They're performing at high levels now. They're beating good teams now. They're going to be fine.
As I was prepping for the show, I was thinking about that and you saying that, and I was thinking, like, Alabama has really turned a page and turned a corner and figured things out. Although they're still not where they need to be offensively, they've figured out how to play with the offense they have.
That's coaching, man.
Yeah.
Coaching. How do you take the players you have and win a game?
And the defense
that's where you do it.
And the defense is able to hold off enough for the offense to perform what they need to win.
Totally coaching.
So, Mr. X.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a game that you watched last week? And you were not here, so you've never been here to say "told you so," but you have been active on the Facebook group. Has there been any "told you so" moments from this week, or maybe you told your wife and she was? It could be anything. It could be anything, right?
Or your
"Told you
cat.
so" could
Now
be
we know why we
want.
call him Mr. X.
Yes.
I didn't really have a big upset this week in my mind. My biggest game that I was looking at was Texas-Oklahoma. It played out about like I expected. Oklahoma definitely is a step up from Texas, and it shows. But that was a close game, good game. Totally what I expected. Only real damn moment that I was concerned about was obviously the Colorado and USC game. I turned it off because I thought it was going to be a blowout. And when they turned it back on and they're tied and getting ready to go into overtime, I was a little bit shocked.
That was 2 weeks ago.
I don't know if they.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched 2 weeks. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're way past that, Mr. X. But that's okay. You weren't here
He
last
wanted
week.
to come
so.
last week, so
All right.
it's just left over.
There's players that are in beast mode right now. Last week, I think we all agreed that Ray Davis from Kentucky was in beast mode.
Brock Bowers.
Right? Brock Bowers is in beast mode. Are there any other players that you're like, this guy just hit the gas, man, he's in beast mode?
How about the
Jeez.
whole team?
Oh, okay, give it to me, a whole team.
Louisville.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
Beating Notre Dame.
And
Did not see that coming.
who's quarterback for Notre Dame this year is
Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman was number 10 in the nation last year,
Yeah.
and they lost to
Notre Dame.
They lost to Wake
They
Forest.
Lost to Wake
yeah.
Forest.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter who
No,
you're
Sorry,
losing.
Wake Forest lost to Louisville.
Wake Forest lost to Louisville.
When
Wake
he was
was
the
number
quarterback.
10.
Yep.
This year, Sam Hartman, number 10, Notre Dame, loses to Louisville.
Yeah, this
It's time for him to hit the portal. Or
no.
something.
He's
Listen,
going to go to the draft.
he's a good
He's
quarterback.
a good quarterback.
Right, draft, yes.
He's a good NFL style quarterback. He's generally a good quality quarterback for college football.
Yeah.
But I think he does get frazzled a little bit when he's being rushed. That's what I've been seeing from him. That's always a challenge for any quarterback.
Agreed.
And he's just got to come back from that. He's got to get out of his own head, and he'll be able to play. I mean, Notre Dame, they are going to be playing USC this week. Should be a tough game. So we're actually going to talk about that game too.
Hard
So,
on?
Yeah. There was a game that was just a barroom brawl last week, right? And I mean, it was just a fight back and forth. One team came out ahead. For me, that was Texas versus Oklahoma. Red River rivalry. It did not disappoint whatsoever. We already talked about that a little bit. That 4-down stand just killed me. But was there any other games that were barroom brawls out there that you can think of? Chopper.
Florida Vandy?
Florida Vandy? No, Florida ran away with that game.
Really?
That was fun. I'm thinking Texas A&M and Alabama too. That was a hell of a game.
That was a hell of a game.
I think Mr. X earlier was saying something about you thought Texas A&M would win that game.
Yes.
You put your money on that?
I
Is
did.
that what I'm hearing? Okay.
They're second or third defense in the SEC.
Strong
Alabama's
defense.
been struggling with their quarterback position, obviously. Figured the defense would give them a little hell. I mean, they did. It was a back and forth game, and both of them. That wasn't the sharpest game that either team had played, but Alabama was probably just by coaching was able to overcome that defense. But I did have A&M winning that one, and I missed the mark.
Yeah, it was. I thought that might be an upset for the week as well, just because I did see Alabama struggling on offense. Texas A&M does have a stout defense. Same thing. If I was a gambling man, I probably would have put a little bit of money on there, hoping I could have won some as well. But I didn't. So another thing that we do on this show is do questions from the web.
Before we do that, there's one game we just got to talk about briefly.
Well, then go for it,
Big
man.
SEC game, Georgia and Kentucky.
Really? Did we have to talk about that?
That was a blow.
That wasn't a big game.
That was a big game.
That
Kentucky
wasn't a
was
big
5-0 undefeated.
Yeah, that was 2 undefeated teams, and Georgia looked like what they're expected to be.
Yeah.
Right.
With the number
But
one
we
team
wanted
in the
to
country.
see the other four
Kentucky
teams.
looked like they didn't belong in the top 25 in that game.
No,
They
that's
definitely
really
didn't.
sad.
No, I don't know what Kentucky team showed up, but
I think
Georgia
they were
looked
intimidating.
like
I
we
think they knew
expect.
going into it.
The thing about
They
that
need
game.
more money.
Well, yeah. The thing
I
about that
heard,
game.
'cause they spent too much money on basketball.
But the thing about Kentucky is that their quarterback literally sucks. To use the most intelligent word I could use, he sucks.
No, he doesn't. He's starting quarterback for Kentucky. He doesn't.
Yeah, but he sucks. He throws for less than 50% completion. All they have is the running game, and Georgia just knew that. I
It's
mean,
a straight north-south running game too.
easy to predict.
Clogged the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good game to talk about. I'm glad you brought that up. Halfway through the college, this is the questions from the web, and I'm surprising everybody with these questions.
Yeah, you are.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about because I didn't even send them out. So
No,
I like this spontaneity. You
I was
know?
like, questions from the web is blank this week.
I know. I did the
know.
same thing. Like, whoa.
I was gonna try to get y'all, just throw y'all off a little bit. Actually, I just came up with them like an hour before the
I
show.
thought these were from people who were on the Facebook group.
I did. I went through Facebook and I found them.
Is this MLB?
No, there's no MLB on the show. All right, so questions from the web. Halfway through the college football season, which team has surprised you the most? Cheeks.
Oh, well, Kentucky did.
Kentucky did?
Yeah,
No, you say Louisville did.
Well, no, Louisville did last week. But
Okay.
Kentucky up to that point. I've been advocating for them
5-1.
every week, trying to be on the AP poll.
Okay.
And I kept saying, why are they not on the poll? Why are they not on the poll? They finally got on the poll, and then they got their
Do they have
blanks handed to them.
Do they stand a chance the rest of the season?
No,
Okay.
but at
And
least they got on the poll.
Mr. X, what team this season so far has surprised you the most?
Probably Florida State. I wasn't buying the hype coming into the season. They belong there.
Really?
I was not buying the hype at all. They're holding there. They still got some teams they got to play before we find out for sure if they're that good.
That's true. So they haven't really had too many challenges yet. But I called them at the end of the season last year. I said Florida State's going to be in the top 4 at the end of next season.
Figure top 10,
Yeah, and then
maybe maybe 5 or 6, but so far they're doing well with it.
Yeah, but they got to get past Florida, and that's going to be the toughest game on their schedule because the Gators are on fire.
Hey, it's a rivalry game. Throw everything out the
Rivalry,
window.
anybody
Where's it
can
being
win.
played at?
It's in Tallahassee this year.
Go Camel.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
it's going to be a challenge for
Sorry.
sure. All right, Chopper, what what is a team that has surprised you the most this season?
I'm with Florida State too, and Mr. X. I was not high on Florida State at the end of our podcast last year when everybody was saying they're going to be good this year. I was not high on them at the beginning of the year when everybody was talking about them, and slowly I'm becoming a believer.
Chief.
Wow.
Chief, give it to me. What is the team that surprised you the most? And I almost can predict it, but I want to hear you say it.
Oh, I can't say it.
Michigan?
Whoa, that's
Michigan,
not what,
really?
I was going to say UNC.
Why not UNC?
Well, okay. Yes, UNC is 6-0. Absolutely awesome.
Insane that they're 6-0.
But they're not going to be in the top 10.
Hold on.
Whereas Michigan, I expected them to be better than they are, and they're waffling, and they haven't played Ohio State yet. They haven't played Penn State yet. So
good games.
I thought Michigan was going to be solid number one in the polls, and they're not.
Yeah. Well, Georgia keeps winning, that's why. And they're not going to take it away from Georgia in the polls.
Until they lose. Right.
Oklahoma. Why is no one saying Oklahoma? That completely unexpected. They were a 7-5 team last season, I believe. And now they're freaking undefeated, beat Texas.
But I think the verdict's still out on them. So, you win a rivalry game. Anybody can win a rivalry game.
Okay.
But it's like, okay, what does the rest of your resume look like? Verdict's still out on them.
An undefeated team in the Big 12 was not an undefeated team in the SEC.
Right.
Yeah.
And then speaking of that, what about Mizzou? I mean, Mizzou did better than expected.
They did exceed expectations. If they win 5 games, they exceed expectations.
Right. Exactly.
Honestly.
Sure. Well, weren't they? Yeah. Were they 5-0 going into this weekend? They lost this weekend, so they were 5-0 coming in.
Any teams that have not lived up to your expectations have not. And for me, and it sounds bad because I didn't expect them to win that many games, but I expected Mississippi State to do way better than they are, and they're not. I expected that quarterback to be able to throw the ball and at least get a couple good upsets, and they still might, but they're not on that trajectory right now, and that's mine is Mississippi State. Did not meet your expectations, Chopper.
Clemson.
Oh,
yeah, I'll go with
that's
that.
an easy one.
They're just.
I mean, they won. What was it, 17-12 on this past weekend against Wake Forest? Right?
They've not been living up to their potential.
Yeah, if you take their recruiting and the players that they have and put that against the performances they're putting up, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't match.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Mr. X, you got one of those?
LSU.
Oh,
LSU's
yeah.
potent offense can throw up a lot of points.
Their quarterback is number 3 in the country right now.
But they can't win a game.
Yeah.
There's 2 games. Those games should have been won.
Yeah.
Those guys should be undefeated and sit somewhere in the top 10, and they're hanging out at 24, 23, wherever it is.
And Mizzou was a close game.
Yep.
Yeah, they should be winning these games easily.
So true.
The team that they had, they should not have lost to Miami.
No.
I mean, not at all. But then again, Miami.
That's another disappointer.
Yes.
Miami's a good team, though. I mean, I think they're a good, solid team.
Yeah.
Making stupid mistakes. Are there any coaches on the hot seat right now, Mr. X? That's a thought.
Get back to me on that one.
No, that's fine. So for me, I was thinking that Dabo Swinney might be on the hot seat right now.
No.
The reason why I said, when you win 2 national championships, I know that Chopper says when you win 2 national championships, you can fire the fans.
Yeah.
Right? The best quote ever about Nick Saban, that he can fire the fans.
You're out of here.
I feel like Dabo Swinney can sort of fire the fans as well, but the fans are going to turn on him in about 2 more losses, and I think that they could possibly have 2 more losses this season.
They lose to the Gamecocks, Dabo's gone.
Yeah,
I disagree. He is more than just a football coach at Clemson. He is, to the fan base, he exemplifies being a good human being, and so that I don't think even if he lost the Gamecocks again this year, I don't see that. Now, if next season is worse than this season, I'll granted that tide could change.
I do want to believe that, and I've seen some of that, but when you've got certain players transferring, when you just came off a year or 2 after a championship, that you got there with them. Same thing with a lot of the coaches. Understand coaches are trying to make money, but there were several coaches jumped ship after they had a bad season after a championship.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if there's a culture problem or if that's just people being greedy.
Oh,
Good point.
that's
Okay.
a very good point.
Or could it be you're staying level and the other teams are getting better?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I've heard people say that Billy Napier's on the hot seat. After one season and a half a season, we've had this conversation 100 times on this show, I think. A coach needs 3 seasons, not 2.
Yes.
A third season to get to a high level, and then a 4th season to get to the way further level. But if you look at Michigan, those fans were patient as can be, and look at that team now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I
Paid
feel
off.
like
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to be patient as fans, but damn, I hate hearing that Billy Napier's on the hot seat.
Well,
So-
what
A lot
about
of media
in
success.
Nebraska?
Nebraska? So Matt Rule, they were long suffering with Scott Frost for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, so Nebraska fans love Scott Frost. He won them a national championship in 1997. I think that they waited too long to get rid of him, even though I love Scott Frost too. You guys know that. He's close to my heart.
Yes.
But they waited too long to get rid of him. Matt Rule's there. I mean, he's changed the culture a little bit. I actually listened to all of his press conferences, and he seems like he's doing some good things over there. But
That'll totally depend on how the players take him too. And I know a lot of people have a lot of hate for him, but I mean, it's a different face as somebody that's got good experience and come in and turn a program around. But like you said, you got to get the people on board, and then you got to get the fans on board.
Yep.
And it'll make a culture change.
Yeah.
And it'll make your team better. But Nebraska's struggled mightily for the last 8 years.
2
I think it's been
decades.
2005 since they've had a winning, or 15 since they had a winning season. I believe.
yeah, in 2012, they've been a bowl game, or not bowl game. Sorry.
That Nebraska style football has changed. It's evolved.
Yeah. But let's not bore on crap out of our audience with Nebraska football.
I know.
That came up by mistake. Okay, I'm sorry. Please don't turn this freaking radio off.
Go Red.
Let's get into some games of the week, okay?
Yeah.
I am going to start at the bottom of the list and work my way up because I feel like these are the...
no.
Well, okay, I'll start on the second at the bottom of the list. Because
Okay.
I feel like that is the game that is going to be a potential upset this week. And I thought it might be a potential upset last
Really?
week when they played Alabama. But
Yeah.
Texas A&M is playing number 19 Tennessee. I really think this could be an upset.
I'm thinking A&M.
Seems that Josh Heupel has got those boys in line after that loss to Florida. They were disheveled in
Yep.
Florida. This is a home game for Tennessee. The only thing is that Texas A&M, as we said, has a pretty good defense. And if they can stop those big plays that Tennessee is known for, they could probably win this game. But does anyone disagree with that potential? Or does anyone think this is going to be a blowout?
Not a blowout.
I'm on the A&M
It's
side.
at Neyland. I think it's going to be close, but I think Tennessee's going to get the win. 3 points.
I think that the spread is only like 2.5 points right now as well.
I didn't even
So,
look at the spread.
I didn't even.
Any thoughts on this game,
I
Mr.
go
X?
consistent with it.
I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see a blowout in this. It's just going to be a good heads-up matchup.
And Tennessee has nothing to lose. They're playing against a West competitor, so it doesn't matter. Texas A&M has everything to lose. Their coach has everything to lose.
Yeah. That's why I think they're going to win.
I feel like Texas A&M is prepping. Tennessee plays Alabama next week. Are they looking ahead? Who knows? We might have an upset in our hands.
So if A&M wins, will Tennessee be out of the poll?
Tennessee, with 2 losses, they'll be out of the chances for the top 4 for
For
sure.
real.
All right, let's move on to a potential upset in the making as well. And that's going to be number 10 USC versus number 21 Notre Dame. This is Notre Dame's time to stand, right? He said last week, the only thing that I think may allow Notre Dame to pull off a win against USC, I totally lost my place. Notre Dame had a hell of an defensive stand against Ohio State a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I feel like USC is going to get screwed up if they have to face a hard defense. And we saw that USC has no defense.
No, and I looked at that. I was looking at their defensive stats, and the offense is the only one winning the game. Their defense goes to bed every time they play.
Yeah. Now,
it's very disappointing.
If USC can get the or can get to Sam Hartman, if they can rush him a little bit, he might get disheveled. You never know.
What time's kickoff?
It's in Notre. It's playing at
7:30.
Yeah. So this is, but to me, this is a potential upset. I feel like Notre Dame has too much to lose right now. I think that from the coaching standpoint, I don't feel like what the hell is his name?
Lincoln?
Not Lincoln Riley. No, Notre Dame's coach. Marcus Freeman. So I feel like Marcus Freeman is a little bit young as a coach. I feel like he doesn't have the same experience that Lincoln Riley has. That might play into account as well. But then again, I just feel like Notre Dame has a chance that they. I mean, there's a lot on the table for them. Does anyone disagree with this statement?
Yeah, I do. I'm still behind USC. Sorry.
Well, you're good. Of course, you're going to be behind USC.
I think about this, but the reason I asked about the kickoff time, and I just verified it, 7:30 local.
Yeah.
The temperature inside of that stadium is going to be cool, and I think get Notre Dame fired up, and they have the advantage that they got a team whose time zone's off and temperature's way off,
Maybe,
and it's
but
a night
the whole
game.
team isn't from California.
Yeah, but they've been in Southern California.
I don't think that weather's going to play that
I don't
much
think
of
so.
a factor
Not
in
at
this
all.
What is
game.
the altitude in South Bend?
It's not high. It's pretty low.
It's not
Are you
Colorado's
rubbing that in my
altitude.
face? Yeah.
He's gonna bring that up every week.
It wouldn't matter if they were playing in Colorado. They're not.
Yeah, I mean, USC has a good team. They have a Heisman Trophy.
Yes.
Like their quarterback owns a Heisman Trophy right now.
Caleb's gonna make it work.
Caleb
sorry.
Williams is a good quarterback.
Notre Dame's
They do play in a conference that does not play defense, so Notre Dame will be a test.
Yep.
Notre Dame's
Yep.
going to be a test. And I don't...
Thank
If Notre Dame can keep up on the points,
Which
which I think that they probably could, maybe. Yeah. If Sam Hartman could have that extra second to throw the ball.
Yes.
If that's the case, they win. If not, then yeah, it's a USC game.
I think they're going to give them a good matchup, but I think they're going to be chasing points. And I don't think Notre Dame's going to be able to haul it out. But I think you'll see a little slower scoring game than we had the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Let's go back out west. Number 18 UCLA at number 15 Oregon State. I was going to defer to our favorite Oregon State fan, the Rebel, on this, but he's not here tonight. Because that guy, he's a fanboy, I think. DJ Ukulele,
Totally
right?
a fanboy.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think both teams are dead even when it comes to this. On offense, they're about the same. I think they're number 18 and number 20 respectively on that. And then the funny thing is that Oregon's only loss was to Utah, and last week they beat Washington State, whereas UCLA lost to Washington State and beat Utah.
You want to hear?
So it's really an interesting story right there to see who of those 6 teams, was that 6 teams, 4 teams is the
both
best.
of their defenses are amazing. UCLA's is one step above Oregon.
Yeah, this is a perfectly even matchup that we're going to be watching. It's going to be a tight game. It'll probably be high scoring, but it's going to be a fun game to watch, in my opinion.
I think Oregon State's going to win, and I think we're going to hear from DJ Ukulele's father about how Dabo Swinney shouldn't have let him go.
Okay.
That's what I think
And
we're going
I
to hear,
think
because they're going to
you're
win.
wrong.
And I told you so from DJ Ukulele.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting that almost every week now.
Let's go just north of South Carolina to North Carolina.
Whoa.
And we're going to talk about the number 25 Miami Hurricanes coming to Chapel Hill to play number 12 UNC. Yeah. Devastating loss for Miami last week. Honestly, the stupidest play ever. But it looks like the player's elbow was down. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's still an L for Miami. Is Miami going to come out full blazes, just shooting, or is UNC going to stop them? I think both teams have good offenses. I think both teams have okay defenses. This could be a high-scoring game. What do you think about this, Chief? This is your team right here, number 12, UNC.
Yeah, I think Drake May, he's going to have a good game. I think you're probably looking at North Carolina scoring somewhere between 32 and 38 points. I think Miami's going to be able to keep up. I think this is a squeaker, but I think May's going to pull it out.
Oh, I
7-0.
Yeah.
UNC 7-0.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
It's starting to look like football schools or basketball schools are starting to dominate in football.
I think that basketball schools are maybe able to recruit some extra players or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
But UNC is a good team this year. I think they flew under everyone's radar. They don't get out of the season undefeated. I think they have 2 losses only. And I think that Miami is not going to be one of those losses, in my opinion. What do you think about this, Mr. X?
I got to agree with Chief.
You got a good opinion on this, I bet.
Got to agree with Chief on this one. I think North Carolina is just going to have that extra edge. You're playing at home as well. You got a great quarterback. Miami just came off a kick in the teeth. You want to come out and fire hard on all cylinders, but I just think edge goes to North Carolina.
Yeah. Have you been watching any of these North Carolina games at all? Chopper?
North Carolina who?
North Carolina who? See,
No.
Chopper,
Mr. Auburn.
Chopper is a SEC homer and definitely an Auburn homer.
But
And
he called that no SEC is going to be in the final.
I did call that.
Yeah.
I know, and
that will still come to fruition. I still believe that.
well, when Georgia loses to Florida,
believe
yeah.
I still believe
All
that.
right.
Yeah, Georgia loses to Florida and Georgia loses
I'll
to
buy you a
Georgia
beer.
Tech.
Georgia
That,
will lose to
if that
Alabama.
comes true, I will buy you a
Georgia
beer.
could lose to any of them.
Georgia could have 4 losses at the end of the year.
Who has Georgia?
Wow.
Who is playing Georgia?
That's 2
At
out
home.
of the 2 wins in
Counting
the
bowl
next 6.
games. Counting bowl games.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, so speaking of Georgia and teams that are going to beat them, let's go down to, or let's stay in Columbia, South Carolina, and talk about this Florida at USC game. I said it at the beginning of the show. I put my foot in my mouth every time I get cocky about things, and I should not have posted on the Facebook group that Florida is going to destroy USC because now they're going to lose. But I still think this is a team that is favored by 2. USC is favored by 2, and the reason why is because Florida plays like crap away. They lost to Utah, and they lost.
Utah was the altitude.
They lost to Kentucky. Well, Utah was the altitude. We talked about that. Kentucky was not the altitude. They're only like 500 feet above sea level or something, maybe 600 feet. So I can't blame it on the altitude, but they just play disheveled when they're away. The crowd noise gets into their heads or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be a challenge for the Gators this week as well. And we're talking about 2 unranked teams, aren't we?
Yep.
But they're local to this area. That's why we talk about
We love them.
Does anyone think, what's the outcome going to be of this game, Chief?
I think, first of all, it's going to be a close game. South Carolina, they're hungry, but I think Florida is playing a whole step above them.
Oh, no.
I think this is going to be close, but I'm thinking one score, somewhere between 3 and 7 points, win goes to Florida.
Not so fast.
No, yes, I agree.
Yeah, no way Florida comes in.
Chopper and I are on the same page on this.
At 3:30 in the Williams-Brice and beats Carolina.
There's no way. So
No
hold
way.
on. This year or ever? Because they always, ever
This
since
year.
I've lived
This
here.
year.
This year, of course. Yeah.
We'll go off
yeah.
of this year, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that scares me is they don't play very well away. That's how Florida is. Carolina plays pretty good at home lately. And Spencer Rattler, he feeds off that fan base. I feel like he does.
And isn't it homecoming?
And it is homecoming, yeah.
Well, we're not
Now,
gonna
why
lose
would you schedule the Gators at
homecoming.
homecoming?
I thought y'all only played
Because
on
we
Thursdays.
know we can win.
I thought y'all just played on Thursdays.
We got
The ball.
Duval. Duval, what do you think about the Carolina game coming up? Did you pay attention to Carolina football, or do you only care about Tennessee?
Gators win by 10.
Gators? Wow. Okay.
No, that's a bold statement.
That is a bold statement. I like you, though. I think that you're a good guy now.
I think they're strong in the trenches. Tennessee's not strong in the trenches, and They pushed South Carolina around at the line of scrimmage. It was on the road. Right? In Knoxville. Night game, right? But I think the Gators are going to put it together. I like their running backs.
They have the 1-2 punch and Etienne is going to be back this week as well. He had an upper body injury, they said last week. That's why he didn't play against. But then again, Montreal Johnson does just fine on his own. But those two, that 1-2 punch, man, they say it's the best in the SEC. I don't believe it yet. I haven't seen it for
I think
sure.
The Vols got the best running backs in the SEC.
Yeah, they have pretty good running backs for sure. Yeah. I think number 12 in the country.
I sucked that because I picked this team.
Yeah, well, I'll let you have that. I will. Mr. X, you are a major Carolina fan, right?
I am.
So then give it to me, man. You're the only Carolina fan at this table, really. Then.
Great points on both sides of the house. I think playing at home, Florida does not like to play on the road. We love to play at home. Spencer definitely likes to play at home, as he's shown.
Yeah.
Carolina's got the potential to be super explosive, but that right side of the line is so weak, and if teams can exploit it, we give up too many sacks and cannot score because we don't have a running back. I think the 1-2 punch of Florida's running backs is another thing that's going to wear us down because we don't have depth on defense.
That's true.
I would go 7 to 10 points, Florida.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
See, I
didn't
don't
see that
buy that.
coming.
You know,
You just don't
the
buy
home
it.
advantage. You know, this is their
Alright,
house.
I'm
They
still-
make the rules.
I'm
I
still
hope
with
that's
Chopper.
I really hope that's the case, but I want to tell myself that that's the case.
Well, I will be there until the very end if this is happening that way.
I will too. Will
For
you?
sure. All right.
Tailgate.
Let's
Yes.
go to the two.
And his birthday.
No, my birthday's on Thursday.
Thursday, right.
But yeah, I will be celebrating my birthday at that game.
Yes.
It's a week.
My birthday
week.
Or
Yeah.
birth month.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to birth month yet, but yeah, we'll go
take
with
the week.
I'll go with the week. It's
Yeah.
my birth week. There we go.
Happy
Yep.
birthday.
All right, so the number 1 offense in the country is Washington, the Washington Huskies, and the number 2 offense in the country is
Oregon.
Bo Nix's Oregon.
Bo
My
Nix.
man over here, the Auburn alum, is
Yeah.
a huge fan of Bo Nix.
Love
He
me
loves
some
the
Bo.
guy.
Didn't
He
Bo-
loved that little pimply-faced kid when he was a freshman.
When he took over
What
for
was that, 15 years ago?
when he took
Yeah.
over for Cam Newton 12 years ago.
Yeah. So, but he is leading. He's leading.
That's good.
He's leading one of the most dynamic offenses in the country. This guy has 1,500 yards passing, and he's playing against a
He's
guy
going to win
that
the
has.
Heisman, and that's going to be my biggest. I told you so.
And he's playing against Michael Penix Jr.,
yeah.
who has 1,990 yards
They're going to
passing.
jump in
Yeah.
the top 4, man. Over
80%, and Bo Nix 80% completion rate. So this is going to be a hell of a matchup.
Yeah.
What's it going to come down to, though, is going to be defense. It really comes down to Oregon has a coach that knows how to coach defense, and that is going to be the deciding factor in this game. Oregon wins this game by
I agree.
Yes.
at least 20 points.
And it comes down to
14
experience,
points.
right?
Totally
Bo Nix
disagree.
has the big game experience.
Totally
He does.
disagree with you.
I don't know.
All
It's
8
gonna
years
be
of
two.
it, yes.
I think Michael Penix Jr. and Washington's defense are going to win by more than one score.
So 10 points or more, you think?
Yeah, 10 points or more.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening only because I feel if you look at Oregon, they're the number 6 defense in the country. This is a team that can stop someone from scoring. Washington doesn't even make the top 50. The thing that's going to happen in this game is Michael Penix Jr., while he can sit there and throw the ball and they could put up 50, 60 points a game, they might put up 30, 40 points this game, but they're going to get stopped twice. And Oregon's going to keep on going because Washington does not have the defense to stop Bo Nix.
Correct.
That's my thought.
Oregon's doing it. Yep. No, I agree. 100%.
In my opinion, Oregon's probably the best team in the country right now. Overall. And
Don't choke on
that's
your beer.
that's going to be my
Don't choke
told
on
you
your
so
beer.
at the end of the season, okay?
Oregon,
Oregon wins the national championship. They are
why are you
good.
stealing my thunder?
Oh, that's right. You said this too. I'm on board.
okay.
I'm
It's
on
not
board,
SEC,
Chopper.
right?
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Wait, Oregon plays in which
Yeah.
division?
Pac-12, they're going away.
What?
Yeah,
It's you and me. That's my whole world.
All right. So, one of my favorite parts of the show is when we do What the Fuck. And What the Fuck is in a moment last week. Vol, get over here. You gotta do a What the Fuck.
He didn't even know
Okay?
it yet.
That's the rule.
You can't walk away yet.
What is a What the Fuck moment from last week when you were watching football and you were like, it could be your wife did something and you were like, what the fuck? But it could be a football player or a football play or a team that made you say, what the fuck?
Doesn't matter. Any sport.
It could be anything.
Any sport.
I do
any
NFL.
sport.
The freaking HOA had a meet and greet Sunday at 3 o'clock.
The HOA
The HOA
did? The HOA did?
in our
In
neighborhood?
Bluffs. In the Bluffs.
Okay.
What?
It's gotta be sports-ish related. It can't
It
be
is. They took him away. NFL was on.
Oh,
3
okay.
o'clock
I
on
didn't
a
hear about
Sunday.
that. No.
What the? Okay. What the fuck?
Yeah, that
What
is
the
a what the
fuck?
fuck.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Does that qualify?
that okay, it qualifies.
Oh,
That's the most original what the fuck we've had yet. I can tell you that.
being a female, I
right.
hate to say, but what female put that together?
Chief, what the fuck, man?
How come we didn't talk about Syracuse playing North Carolina?
Oh, that
That's
was embarrassing.
My what the fuck.
That's embarrassing. Yeah.
Was Syracuse?
I really need Rooster.
Was
Where's
Syracuse
Rooster?
undefeated going into that
They
game?
were 4-1.
They're 4-1. Okay. And North Carolina did dominate that game, right?
Soundly, 40-7.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what the fuck, Syracuse? Why
I
can't
know.
you play a better
That's
game?
why Rooster's not here.
That's why he's not here. All right, Cheeks. What the fuck?
My what the fuck is NFL. Shocker. My what the fuck is, I'm not sure if anybody noticed, but Kansas City's refs must travel with them. I'm pretty sure.
They have an NIL deal.
Exactly.
I think they do, yeah.
They have an NIL deal.
So they had a quarterback who decided to have an infraction, and he took off his helmet, and they said, put your helmet back on, and they ignored the fact that that was a 15-yard infraction.
What the fuck, refs? What the fuck?
Right after they had a pass interference call that
Yes.
they picked up and did not call, and then
Yes. They
Mahomes
took
makes the money
they took
sign.
the-
Like, what are you telling us? You're paying the refs, or you're going to pay the refs?
Yep.
That's
Like,
funny.
Yep.
That decided the game by 7 points.
What the
Yep.
fuck, refs? All right.
Thank you for
I was listening to Paul Feinbaum shows for like 5 minutes today, and all I thought was, what the fuck? That's why I don't listen to this show. Because there are some idiots that call into that show.
Yeah, who'd
What
you
the
hear?
fuck, Paul
No, they're
Feinbaum?
classic though.
They are classic, but man, those boys are freaking. They can't put together a sentence like.
That's why
They
he
put
lets
together
you
sentences
call
like
in,
a 3-year-old.
and you have to write
Oh,
in
I bet
for
I
our
can
show.
guess Chopper's what the fuck.
Give it to me.
The Swiftie did not show up.
What the
Yeah.
fuck, Swifty?
What the fuck?
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. X, do you have a what the fuck?
I'm a baseball guy, so
You can
yes.
do it. It's
Brave-
open table.
Braves Phillies last play of the game catches it off the wall. Looks like it's going to be a home run. Bryce Harper didn't tag up, and not a bad play on his part because he would have scored. It was a good heads up play, but the fact that they were able to throw it back in and catch him off to double him out to end the game was. I've never seen a play like that, so I was what the fuck when the game was over. Very happy about it, but nothing.
What the fuck?
Not me. But you see Bryce Harper, he was flipping off.
The Braves fans love Bryce Harper.
All right.
They show him he's number one every time.
Y'all heard the word, and it was last call a little while ago.
Yeah.
Whenever the bartender calls last call, I'm supposed to wrap the show up completely, but we usually go on for about 4 or 5 minutes after the show. And this is going to be the last call question, and we're going to do it really fast, okay? Your top person for a Heisman right now.
This is going to be tough.
So mine is going to be Michael Penix Jr. He is the man. Freaking awesome. Shedeur Sanders, by the way, is freaking awesome as well, but he's padding those stats and people know it.
Thank you.
Whereas Michael Penix Jr. is going to win the Heisman with the numbers that he has right now. 2,000 yards passing, 75% completion rate. All he's got to do is have a couple more good games and he's in there. Anybody else? Chief.
I got Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, and I will tell you who on Sunday.
Okay.
Bo Nix
Nice.
puts this debate to rest this
It's-
weekend.
This weekend
Bo
we'll put
Nix.
this
Bo
debate to
Nix,
rest.
Bo Nix,
It's-
and Oregon. Oregon goes into the top 4, and Bo Nix goes into the lead. for
Okay.
Heisman.
Mr. X.
NCAA loves pure numbers. Caleb Williams got it right now.
Thank you.
But Sanders is definitely on the list just because of how much Colorado has changed the football landscape this year. You got to think his name's going to be in that mix, right next to Caleb Williams with the numbers he's putting up right now.
So he will be in New York for the.
I think he's going to be on one of the seats. Yeah.
Okay. And Cheeks.
I know, it's a shocker. Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Caleb Williams, come on.
I'm going to let the ball over here say, do you have a guy that you're looking at for Heisman?
Michael Penix.
Okay, yeah. A beast. But this weekend will define that too, right? If he does not, I mean, between the two players, Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., those two guys are definitely the top contenders. They're the number 1 and number 2.
Is there any scenario where Bo Nix wins this game, has better stats than him, and is not overtake him in the lead for the Heisman?
I don't think that Bo Nix will end the season with better stats than Michael Penix Jr.
After this game.
Oh, yeah.
That's this game.
Yeah.
If he has better stats than Penix Jr.
Well, he has a better completion rating. It's like 80%.
Bo
Nix, number 2.
Bo Nix is at 80.4%.
Yeah.
Michael Penix Jr. is at 74.7%.
But better stats in this game versus each other.
Yeah, that's important.
Really,
if it comes to those two, that's going to be the deciding factor.
If the game is 28-21, something like that, versus if the game is 57-48, big difference.
Different story. All right, so I want to thank all the people that keep on listening to this show, even though we bore you to death every week. We actually enjoy doing it, and we appreciate y'all listening all the way to the end. Keep on coming back, listening to more Guys at the Bar talking sports.